Hello everyone, it's Cameron Schrader, back after a really long time, like 2 or 3 months from being away. Um, I'm going to make an uplifting trance track from start to finish. I'm going to be editing a bit of this. I don't really like editing, but this is going to be a really long tutorial. Should be really helpful. First off, I'll tell you where I've been. I've been dealing with health issues. Um, and I just really haven't felt like recording. Uh, so there's that. Anyways, let's get into the tutorial. I'm going to teach you how to structure an uplifting trance track and how to put one together. And that's it. I'm going to teach you how to produce it. I'm not going to teach you how to write it because I've already got my chords and everything made. So if you want to copy that down, here it is. So, excuse me. First thing you want to do is you want to start up a new project file, as always. And then you want to, first off, you want to have some chords already made from a test track, a test file. See, I have my test file here that I just got back from, where you just want to make some chords once you start the track. First thing I always start out with is start a new pattern, and I go find a kick. I think I already know which one I want to use. It's from My Loops. You can get it for free. Yeah, it's this one. So I'm gonna rename this to sidechain kick. I'm gonna bring it up to 16. So you click this and you drag up. Oops. Rename this to sidechain kick. So if you push Q on your keyboard, that'll play the drum on its flat note, in whatever key it's in. I think this one is in G. I can't really remember. I'm going to open the sample and go to instrument properties, which is the INS. And since this is the sidechain kick, we just want to get the snap of the kick. This is something I learned from Max Bryman. So we'll bring all of these knobs down aside from the hold. It's still going to sound normal. And then with the hold, we want to bring it down just until we hear the snap. So like that, right? So fill each 4 steps. And that's what you get. Click on insert one, go to link insert selected channel. The green channel is the one that's selected to this track. So now it's in this mixer. Go over to your master. Sorry, my phone just went off. While you have your sidechain kick selected and you see this little knob that says to master up here in the top left, bring that down. So you won't actually hear anything because none of the sound is actually going to the master. And this, you're going to be using this, you'll use the sidechain kick to, you'll use it on your bass, your pads, and your leads. So it's pretty important. Now you need to go back and get that same kick. Whoops. make a new pattern, rename it kick 16, fill each 4 steps, link selected channels to this track. So we've chosen a new mixer and we've got the kick in here. Oh yeah, first off, let's do this. Let's bring this tempo up to 138. For uplifting trance, you can have anything between 136 and 140, but I usually do 138. So first order of business on the kick, guess I'll play it, is to open up Fruity Parametric EQ2. So you hit one of these, the down arrow on the effects chain, you select Parametric EQ2, and it's in alphabetical order, so Fruity Parametric EQ2, look for that. We're going to change this into a high pass, and we're going to do order gentle 8, and then you drag it to the left until you can hear the full kick. So about 30 hertz. You bring the second knob up here, you just drag it up a little bit, you just want it nice like this. So the bass of the kick goes from around 200 to 50 hertz. So we want to boost that just a little bit. Okay, that's good. Then I'll raise the highs a bit. You can scroll up and down to change how much influence or tension the knob has. See, it changes this. Just give a bit of a boost to the lows and highs. And we'll do, with the kick, we're going to right click on this little up arrow looking thing and select root. We're going to rename this kick bus. And we're going to color it yellow, and for the kick and the sidechain kick, let's color them blue. I like to color code absolutely everything. Makes for easier organization, and it makes it easier to find things, and it can make your workflow a lot easier depending on how quick you are. Having an organized color-coded project file for me works out because I have an empty project file that has everything already named and colored, so it's pretty easy for me to just copy that and make a new project from there. So basically a template. Alright, so let's grab the sidechain kick. We'll put it on the top here, right click and hit auto name. If you want, you don't have to click auto name. I actually usually just rename in color. And I usually don't use an icon. So this is our track. It's everything we've got so far. Now you want to do some percussion. My recommended sample pack for uplifting is Activa Trance Essentials. It has pretty much everything you could ever need. Definitely a good buy. So we're going to hit hat 1, or make a new pattern, name it hat 1. Doesn't need to be colored. Well, it's not necessary. And I usually use this first one. Open it up in the piano roll. And then your note needs to be 2 steps long. Make 2 notes like that. Bring the velocity on the first note to about 48, 50. So the one that's on beat is going to deck out of the kick, and the one that's off beat is going to be normal. Okay, so hold control, click, and then drag to select like that. Then hold control, shift, and then click, and oops. Hold, once you have something selected, hold shift and click. And drag to copy. So you've got something that sounds like this. And we'll name it Hat 1. And I'll go ahead and make it 16 bars real quick. Okay, so we're gonna link that here. And then I'm gonna go find a shaker. Braid will work. Number 3 with 2. Right click on Hat 1, edit, copy, and then edit, paste, and I'll rename the shaker to Shake. So you play this. I guess I'll go into sample. I'll normalize this. It'll basically boost everything. Okay, so now the shaker is too loud, so we'll bring it down. We want it to be equal with the first hat, the closed hat, I mean. We'll put that in our playlist for now. And we'll go grab an open hat. So hat 2. I'll show you 2 really good open hats. Well, I'll show you 3. There's one right here in Activa, which we're going to be using. It's the 3rd one, because it's already edited just how I usually want it to be. And then there is, and this comes with FL Studio, so it's in the default drum set. Go to hats, and then scroll down to GRV-OH-05. So it's basically the same as that Activa sample, but it's not edited, so you can bring this up a bit, just like that, and have a good hat as well. Then another good hat is in Ultimate Percussion from Freshly Squeezed Samples. It's right here. Oh wait, okay, it's the second hat in closed hats. I don't know why it's called closed, but it works good. We'll bring this up to 16 bars. You right click on hat 2, select 4 steps, and then while you have it selected, hold shift and then hit the right arrow twice to put all of the hats on the offbeat. Okay. We'll open up Parametric EQ2. We'll do presets, and we'll go down to 40 Hertz cut. And we'll drag that over until, actually we can probably, you want to drag that over until you want to cut out what you can't hear, and I'm not hearing anything here, so I'm just going to cut it out. It'll make the mix cleaner. I would normally do this to every single track, or to every single mixer, for every instrument and synth, but for the sake of a tutorial, I'm only going to do it in ones that I need. So don't want to cut it here because it'll sound weird. So I'm going to cut it at around 200 hertz, give it a nice full sound. Okay, that's nice. Now we need a snare and a clap. Oops. Okay, I'm not hearing anything good out of these. I know for sure that people are loud. There's two good snares in this one. Okay, so the 15th snare, just drag it over here. It's in Vengeance Club Sounds 2. Snare, make a new pattern. Oops. 16 bars. Fill each 8 steps and then hold shift and move them over to every other beat. I'm going to link that here. So I'm going to boost the punch of the snare, and then I'm going to boost the highs just a bit. So we're going to right click on the first one. Going to do high pass, order 8. And then second knob, we'll bring it up here, and then we'll scroll down to so by scrolling down, it moves the width or the tension or whatever down a bit. We'll bring the third up a bit as well, so it's nice and smooth. Then here, we'll bring the highs up a bit and scroll down a bit. Then for 5 and 4, I'll just bring them down a little bit. So this will sound like, so it sounds pretty bad. That's fine. Bring these down a bit. It's completely normal for it to sound bad, but that's okay. We're going to layer it with a clap. So new pattern, clap. How long have I been recording? 18 minutes, that's not bad. Okay, get out of my face. Vengeance Club Sounds 1 has a really good clap in it. I'm not sure how that just happened. It's the 80th one. Sounds like something straight out of an Alien Viola track. I've gotten pretty tired of using them, and I've been making my own claps lately, but just for the simplicity and ease of access to these samples, someone's yelling, and I know that the microphone is going to pick that up. It's so annoying. But I had to find a timer to record, and I'm feeling good right now, so yeah. I've gotten tired of using this clap over time, but it's still pretty good. Fill each 8 steps, put it on every other beat. Clap. Make it here. Bring this down. That up. you want to boost the highs right above, right at 3000 hertz, and then right at around 9600 hertz, so 10,000. You want to boost it and bring the width down a bit. Okay. So this will sound like. Okay, and I don't want the snare to be as loud as the clap. I want it to be a bit quieter. That's perfect. Well, that's perfect. And something that I like to do with this one is go to the very the last bar and put or the second to last beat and put a clap right there. So right before the offbeat, you'll get something that sounds like this. And then you want to right click on that and hit cut itself. What cutting does, so instead of the sample continually layering or adding up on itself, if you start to play it again, it stops the last time it was played. If that makes any sense. Hopefully it does. Then you've pretty much got everything here, but something that I've been doing lately that is kind of reminiscent of the old Anjunas style uplifting trance is I've been doing some percussion. So name that percussion, we'll bring it up to 8 bars. I'm looking in Ultimate Percussion from freshly squeezed samples. Just going to come up with a nice little loop. I'm going to go ahead and place it in the playlist. I'll copy that over here. We'll name it Perk 1. Find another sample. Oops. Perk 2. Nope, I don't want it on beat. I never put percussion on beat. So I'll grab another sample. Perk 3. Oh, that's the same, pretty much. 29 is good. I still don't like that. That's good. Okay, and then I'm going to link all of these to mixer channel. We'll rename that to percussion. Bring it down a bit, and then when we listen to it with the rest of the track, it sounds like this. Okay, so we'll do a bit of EQing. It makes the track sound nice and groovy as far as the percussion goes. Do high pass, gentle, bring it to about 100. Then I'm going to boost the highs. And then I'm going to boost the mids. don't get too fancy with your EQing. It is possible to overdo your EQing and make the mix really muddy. Alright, so now we're almost done with the percussion. We're going to go grab some loops from Activa. The 7th one sounds good. Normally I would go through and choose a bunch of loops very carefully, but since I'm trying to be quick, I'm just going to grab some that I know are good. The 7th one is good. And you want to get the percussion loops. Rename that to loop 1, and then I'll color code it. Get here, and bring the volume down. So when we play the track, it sounds like this. And then you just want to layer about 3, 4, maybe even 5 if needed loops. Man, I've got hiccups or not hiccups, but burps really bad right now. It really kind of sucks. Okay, so that'll work. Loop 2. Get here and bring it down. Oh, and by the way, you'll need to low cut these. And these are all my presets that I've saved. These are the ones that come with FL Studio. Select the 40 Hz cut, and you want to move this one over to the lowest frequency that you can hear. So there's a percussion sample that you can hear right there, and then a nasty click at the end, and we want to get rid of the click. So that sounds fine. We don't need it for this loop. I mean, we do, and we don't. This one sounds good. And it sounds like we're going to need a low cut for it because I heard some nasty click at the end. Select the 40 Hz cut. And voila, the click is gone. And by click or rumble, I mean any inaudible frequencies that are on the low end. The low end of your track. If you don't cut them, it'll make your track sound kind of really bad. And you want to have a mix that's as clean as you can get. So then we want to grab 68, I think. 68. Yep, that's good. So you'll probably notice that I've made all of these loops really quiet in the mixer. They're pretty low. They just add to your percussion track. You do not want them to be the focal points like your normal hats and claps are. So they're kind of just filler. So you don't want them to be too ridiculously loud. Okay. We'll balance all the sounds out. Okay, and now we're going to make a percussion bus. So all of these right here, all of our percussion samples, we're going to link them to. We're going to make a percussion bus. So just rename a mixer channel percussion bus. And I make all of my buses yellow. And then we're going to route all of these tracks through the percussion bus. So hat 1, right click on the up arrow under the percussion bus and say route to this, select route to this track only. And do that for all of these. And now I'll do a bit of EQing. So I'm going to boost where any snares and low percussion is, and I'm going to boost the highs, and I'm going to boost the mids just a little bit. So I'm going to drag the 7th knob over to around 2000 hertz and boost it all a little bit, and then with the 6th one I'm going to drag it over here to where the treble is, and I'm going to bring the width down, so scroll down. And I want that to boost my hi-hats. So I'm going to move around, I'm going to move the treble knob around until I find something that sounds, that makes the hi-hats really pop out. That's where my snare is, and then this is where the percussion is, or the percussion samples. So that's the EQ on the percussion bus. I'll go ahead and do one final low cut on that. I guess I can cut it around 150 hertz. And you're done with the drums for the track. Now you've got to do the bass. The bass is one of the hardest parts. My style is based off of Ghilardi's. So it can be pretty difficult to replicate. So we're going to do bass, add in silent, and then do init preset, and our lowest note was, we'll first rename it to high bass 1. Our lowest note was a C sharp, so, oh, that's really loud. Go ahead and link this. Bring it down a bit. Make a standard rolling bass pattern out of it, I guess. That'll work. So now that we've gotten around to making the bass, you're going to have your attack all the way down, and it starts at like 0.10. You're not going to touch the release, it starts at like 0.5. You're never going to have release up for any of your rolling bass lines. So you bring your decay up a bit, and your sustain will be up a bit as well, so kind of like this. The decay is the D, and then the sustain is the S. So you will have something that sounds like that. Now we need to take the retrigger off of both of these. Bring voicing up to 8. Change them both to saw waves, so you get this. And now we'll play around with detuning and the phasing. Detuning usually comes first for me. Go away, Skype. So that sounds decent already, but pretty generic. Do a low cut. And then on mod envelopes, go to cutoff AB. And you want this to be pretty plucky, so you bring up the decay and the sustain. And then you won't hear anything until you bring this knob up. I think that sounds pretty good, and then I want it to be really plucky, so I'm going to select cutoff AB again. Bring the decay up just a slight bit, and then bring up the knob on it just a little bit. Alright, so now you need to go over to your amp envelope, select C, and then go to part B, and then you hit P, so it'll paste what you've got. So because you want your amp envelopes to be the same on both. Oh yeah, I didn't mess around with the phasing. The phasing changes where in the waveform, like where the waveform starts. So it can just vary up your bass a little bit. And for basses, I usually don't mess around with the panning. Anyways, let's go back to part B. Bring this up to 8, bring this up to 8. Keep this a saw wave, and then we'll do a square wave on this. Or just pulse is what it's called in silent. Wait, look at. And then we want to select 2 random oscillators and bring them down to -1 octaves. That sounds really good. Throw in some distortion. Sounds really nice. Maybe EQ. And with EQing on silent, I don't have any method behind what I do. I just randomly twist things until I get something that sounds nice. Oh yeah, and for the square, you want to have the volume down a little bit below halfway. Then for input select, you'll mess around with only having it to B, or let's go back to part A. On part A, you'll mess around with having it on input select A and AB, and on B you'll mess around with B and BA. I think I like having both. And then the last thing you want to do, because it doesn't sound really good yet, is go to parametric EQ2, select high pass, and then gentle 8, and cut it like right at 100 hertz, just there, and then do some boosting. Oops. You want to boost the highs a lot. And maybe the mids a bit, and then I'll do another cut on it. 40 hertz. Where is it? There we go. And then this one will be like right at around 160, I think. No. Okay, so that's at 190. We're going to mute this. Open up another silent. How much time am I recording? 38 minutes. Okay. We're cutting it close here. So I think the bass is where I'm going to stop at for today. Because this is going to take at least 3 hours. I'm going to rename this hard bass to high bass 2. I said hard because the last track I was working on was using like hard sustained bass, like just really heavy stuff. It sounded pretty cool. Go ahead and link it to mixer. Do the same thing that we did with the last one. But you don't want it to be the same as the last one. You want it to be a bit different. Oh, whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Phasing, you usually won't go over halfway. but you can try it sometimes. Copy, paste. Bit of EQing. Go to part B, do the same thing. High pass. Do another cut. Right, probably around 207. So together they'll sound like this. So when you're doing high basses, something that you want to pay attention to is if I play one on its own and then add another one, can I tell that another one was added in? If you can tell that it was added, if you added another bass in, then you're golden, you're good. Whoops. You don't need to worry about anything if it sounds different. If you can't tell that something was added, you need to go back and change some of the stuff that you did. So you're obviously not doing enough. So now we're going to move on to the mid basses. So mid bass 1. And for the mids, you're not going to use any sustain. So you're just going to have something that's really plucky. Oh, and I apologize if you hear my dog sleeping. I just heard him snoring. So we'll bring that up to 8. We'll bring this one to a saw wave and then bring it up to 8. Take the re-trigger off of this one. We'll paste the pattern. And what the trick here is just to keep playing around until you get something that you like. I'll do a bit of a pitch mod onto the decay here. That makes it really punchy. Go to part B, do the same thing. Do a bit of distortion. Maybe even some EQing. Alright. Some EQing again, as always. That dog is really freaking disturbing. Actually, we're going to reset that. Presets, default. Okay, type, high pass. And then for the mids, we'll cut on the high pass, we'll do it right at 50. Bring it down here. Okay, so that's sounding pretty decent. Then you're going to do a cut on it right around 170, 190-ish hertz. Whoops. $172, that sounds pretty good. Okay, we're gonna add one more thing of silent then. And then do init, bring the sustain down again. Guess I'll have this one just really stabby and subtle. Do another pitch mod on this. More distortion. That punches really hard. I'm not going to bother doing EQing on this. Make it to a mixer. And we're going to EQ the crap out of this, so I did a ton of boosting. And now we're going to go back and do something similar. Oh, I forgot to name this. Mid, bass, 2. We're going to EQ the second way, similar to how we EQ'd the first mid bass. Alright, then we're going to cut it at around 170 to 190. That sounds pretty good. And now we need to lower this. I'm actually going to lower some of it in silent because it's really loud. Alright, for the third mid bass, I'm actually just going to use a preset that I made a long time ago. I'll show you how I made it though, because it's really simple. Retrig on only one part was used. Retrig on both. The detune is the same, so I move the detune up on here the same amount that I did here. So I click on detuning, you can see that I did 3.62 and 3.62. One's a square, one's a saw. There's a bit of distortion, and then there's a cutoff modulation envelope. But it's actually really simple. And it sounds really good. So you're probably wondering how many basses there are going to be. There's only going to be one more after this. It's going to be the sub. I don't know why this isn't being very loud. It will be after I EQ it though. Do another low cut at around 190. Okay, I like how that sounds. Alright, so the last bass we're going to use is going to be the sub. I'm just going to use a preset that I have. Because pretty much most offbeat subs, which are the kind that I use, is going to sound the same. EQ, just a little bit. It's pretty much you don't touch the bass or the bass frequency, you just mess around with the treble. Decays are a little bit below halfway, sustain is up about 3/4, and release is 0, and then attack is 0.17. If you hear a bit of clipping, so you hear that click, when you're on your sub, just bring the release up a bit to about, don't bring it past 1. That's good. Okay, I'm not hearing clicking anymore. Rename that to sub bass. Then we're going to EQ it. I'm going to use my preset that I always use from ProQ, FabFilter ProQ. You can do this in parametric EQ too, but the reason I always EQ my subs in FabFilter is just because it's a bit better synthesizer or equalizer. The reason I still use parametric EQ too, though, is just because it's a lot easier. So you want to boost right at around 60 hertz. You want to boost 160 hertz, and then low cut somewhere around 1000. This is a low shelf, and then or high cut right at around 1000 with a high shelf, and then low cut right at around 30. You get this really snappy sounding sub bass. With everything else, it sounds like this. Now we need a bass bus. Make it right here, bass bus. And route everything. And then we'll do TP Baselane. It's a free plugin that you can get from Tone Projects, and put it right at 185.4 hertz. Using this little knob right here. Don't change anything else, just change the frequency. So 185.4. Now you want to select your sidechain kick, the mixer for it, and move over to the bass bus and right click and select sidechain to this track. Put our bass down real quick, solo it in the track or in the playlist. Oh wait, I've got all my basses soloed. Okay. So no sidechaining is being done yet, but you open up limiter. On your bass bus, go to compressor. On sidechain, you bring it up to 1. Ratio, you bring it all the way up. And then your threshold, you're going to bring it around 24 to 26. Okay, that sounds pretty good. And I totally just screwed it up. Okay. I didn't mean to hit the right button, but whatever. Let me just redo that. I hit it on 26.2. There we go. So when we play that with the kick, it'll sound like this. You want the bass bus to peak right at around 12 hertz. So right here. Say that looks pretty good. But my head is starting to hurt me, so I'm going to stop recording for now, and I'll see you guys next time on the next tutorial, because we're really pushing the time here. So, bye.